Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is going to be my contest entry actually into Mazzy, username Norman Maslov, his 50th Whack-A-Mole contest. For those of you that may not be familiar with his channel, one of the cool things that he does is kind of this, almost like a series that he does that he calls Whack-A-Mole, where he just simply walks around his collection, and he has quite a vast collection, and just blindly, without looking, randomly picks 5 records out of his collection and just kind of talks about them. Things he likes about them, maybe personal stories connected with them, all that great stuff. So for his 50th Whack-A-Mole, he's doing a contest, and it's simply for us to do a Whack-A-Mole. So yeah, just definitely want to jump on board, pay tribute to Mazzy's channel, and this might be my first Whack-A-Mole. I don't know if I've ever done a video quite like this before, so yeah, that's why I'm on this side of the camera. But yeah, let's just kind of walk around and do it. I basically have kind of 4 sections, so I figured I'd pull at least one from each section and then kind of go from there. But okay, so let's just go and start right over here. Now again, I'm looking right up at the ceiling, so this feels good. Oh, okay, yeah, actually, ooh, that is good. This is the church. Sans there. For those maybe that aren't familiar with the church as a group, you know, their big hit was probably Under the Milky Way from back in the 80s. Not on this album, but that probably the song that most people can at least say they've heard at some point in time. But the great thing about them is if you like one of their albums, you're probably going to like 90% of the rest of their albums, because these are guys that really did not change a beat over the course of their career. You know, a very kind of monotone vocal delivery. I don't want to say dark, but almost like that depressed sound of the 80s, the cool depressed sound of the 80s, if that makes any sense. But yeah, you know, very kind of, you know, synthy and not a lot of like really upbeat stuff, really kind of more slow groovy type of stuff. And it's just a sound and a feel that I absolutely love, and this album definitely personifies that as well. Favorite song off here is definitely Fly, and I think if you listen to that, you'll get just a fantastic example of what makes this group so awesome. So yeah, Fly off of this album, but definitely Under the Milky Way, which again is not on this album, but definitely one you should listen to if you're not familiar with this group. So yeah, the church, great way to start this video. All right, so let's go over to this stack here for the second pick. And again, looking up, let's go right here. Oh, okay, another good pick. So now we're in the hip hop section, and we have Bone Thugs and Harmony Greatest Hits. Actually, let me just sit over here in the light. So another really great album, another really great hip hop / rap artist here, or group. And the one thing I really like about Bone, and this is one of the things at least that I feel I'm giving them a great compliment, is, you know, I've always been an early hip hop fan. You know, love the early stuff, and even love some of the later stuff too, but definitely an earlier fan. And for those that were around, you kind of know in the late 80s going into the early 90s, hip hop really started to kind of spawn into a lot of different things. It was kind of, for the most part, all the same up until then. But then it started going into the, you know, like the enlightened type of hip hop, and then there was like the militant branch, and then there was the, for lack of better terms, the gangster branch, and then there was still kind of, you know, the funny, having fun, joking around kind of line. So it was all these different things. But some of that stuff I really didn't dig as much, especially kind of the way the gangster rap, if you will, if I can use that term, side of hip hop started to kind of take over a bit, and it became more about how foul mouth I can be as opposed to actually creating music, if you will. It was just give me a beat and I'll just say something really crass. But I think Bone Thugs and Harmony were one of those groups that were right in the midst of all that transition and really kind of took advantage of all of the different elements. So they had a very, very unique delivery where no one else sounded like them. When you heard a song come on, even if you never heard it before, you knew that was Bone Thugs and Harmony. Number two, they could easily go into the gangster side of things, but they also could tell some really magnificent stories, so that they truly were great writers. And on top of that, if you took out some of took out lyrics out of a lot of their songs, they were still very, very beautiful pieces of music. So that they were a group that really, really, in my opinion, put serious effort and creativity into what they put out. On here you have stuff like Thuggish Ruggish Bone, For the Love of Money, featuring Eazy-E, First of the Month. Of course, The Crossroads, which is a great example of just some of the beauty of music that they could put together. But yeah, really, really great 2 LP set there. Very nice piece there. All right, so let's move along to this side. And, okay, so let's randomly pick, what do we have here? Oh, okay. Another good piece. Janet Jackson, Control. Another legendary album that most people probably know fairly well. This is just one of those legendary albums. This is really kind of the album that put Janet on the map. You have songs like Control, Nasty, What Have You Done For Me Lately, The Pleasure Principle, Let's Wait a While. Just fantastic, fantastic songs. And to me, I think really to most people, not just to me, this was really kind of her coming out album. You know what I mean? She was always part of the Jackson family, and so, you're living through Michael and the Jackson 5 and all that stuff throughout her childhood going to her teens. And she first came out with, let me see if I can find that here really quick. Yeah, this was one of her earlier albums, which was Dream Street. And this is the first thing I ever remember seeing by Janet Jackson. And she had a video for the title track, which was Dream Street. And it was very similar to kind of Pat Benatar's Love is a Battlefield, except not quite as dark. Just young girl going out and, trying to make it and blah, blah, blah. But she was still really in the kind of the I'm the cute little girl, I'm the Jackson, blah, blah, blah. And then, just a little while later, it was, no, I'm all woman. And that's when this came out. And she really kind of established the Janet Jackson that we kind of know today. Again, with songs like Control and Nasty and What Have You Done For Me Lately. It's a powerhouse of an album. It really is. So that's Janet. All right, so that's 3. Let's move over to another stack here. And over here, let's see, we'll randomly go with, what do we have here? Oh, okay. Go-Go's. This is Beauty and the Beat. One of their early albums here. And again, Go-Go's, another one of those legendary type of bands, as far as the 80s go. Big hits off of here. Of course, We Got the Beat, Our Lips Are Sealed. Really, really great tracks. But yeah, just a great representation of that early 80s pop type of thing, especially when the female band started coming around. And it's really cool too, because this was one of those albums where, the Go-Go's could have easily went to the wayside without making it big and never really have been heard of, or became the legendary Go-Go's that we kind of know today. Matter of fact, one of the things they always talked about was, even with this album cover, as simple as you see that it is, well, one of the reasons they made it so simple was they just didn't even have the money to really do much beyond that. So it was like, how simple a cover can we make? Put on tiles and paint your face white, and that's that. Which, it's kind of like, but yeah, great album. And again, I don't know, Our Lips Are Sealed, probably my second favorite Go-Go song. I think Vacation might be my absolute favorite. But yeah, fantastic album. Of course, you had Belinda Carlisle, who eventually went solo along with Jane Wildman. Really the rest of the band didn't do much from a solo perspective after they broke up. And the main reason they broke up too was because, you know, Jane and Belinda were kind of doing all the writing. So when they did blow up and start making it big, they were getting all the money, and the rest of the band was just kind of left out, which, you know, kind of sucks, I think. But you always hear that kind of crappy story with bands. But which is one of the things I've always kind of admired about Rush. You know, speaking of Rush, with you know, Neil Peart recently passing away. But that was one of the things that Rush always did from the very beginning, was they said, okay, screw this. No matter who writes how much or whatever, everything is just split 3 ways. You know, and they became legendary successes, and there's a reason why they stayed together for, you know, 30 plus freaking years, 40 plus years. So too bad more bands didn't do that, or maybe we'd had a few more albums by the Go-Go's. All right, so that's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll pick one more. Actually, let's go back over to this side and pick something off of this end. Let's see. Let's go here. What's this? Oh, Sepultura. Okay. This is Roar Back. Great Sepultura album for sure. Actually, let me go over to the light again. Not my favorite album by them, but definitely still one that's great. One of the things that Sepultura really kind of focused on in their career was, they used to always say, we'll try to not ever make the same album twice. So they were Sepultura, but they always went kind of different directions, you know, if you will. So Chaos AD, Roots, Arise tend to be my favorite albums, but this one definitely kind of falls on par with that too. I can't necessarily say I have a favorite song off of this. This really is just one where I just kind of, when I do put it on, it's just one that I throw on and kind of listen to from front to back. But yeah, definitely a great metal album, great group. Everyone should have a little bit of Sepultura in their collection. And again, if you don't have anything at all, I definitely recommend starting with Chaos AD or Roots. Those are probably my 2 favorites. But all right, so there you go, man. That's my first whack-a-mole. It's not as easy as you think it would be, actually. But yeah, again, Mazzy, congrats, man, on hitting the 50th mark with the whack-a-mole videos. So they're great. They're my favorite ones to watch from you. And yeah, glad I had an opportunity to kind of jump on board and pay tribute to your channel. All right, take care, VC, and I will talk to you soon.